Hi guys, welcome to another video where I would be discussing about RBI Grade B strategy for beginners. आप में से बहुत सारे लोग होंगे जो beginners होंगे, तैयारी शुरू करने वाले होंगे, तो उनके लिए वीडियो is going to be very very important. कहते हैं शुरुआत मुश्किल होती है लेकिन अगर रास्ता सही मिल जाए तो मंजिल मिल जाती है. So that is the theme of this video. I would be sharing what I've learned from my 5 years of experience in this video, and this can get you working in the right direction. And before I start, I would request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also join our Telegram channel, the link for which is given in the description of this video. We keep sharing some free content on our YouTube channel and Telegram channel. Now when you start your preparation from scratch for RBI Grade B, बहुत सारे डाउट्स आते हैं आपके मन में. बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं हमारे आसपास जो हमें बोलते हैं, हे आप RBI Grade B की तैयारी क्यों कर रहे हैं, इसका नोटिफिकेशन तो हर साल आता नहीं है. Then you might be getting a doubt in your mind कि can a person from non-finance, non-UPSC, or I'm a fresher, or I'm having gap years, can I still clear this exam? ऐसे बहुत सारे डाउट्स आपके मन में आते हैं. तो मैं यही कहना चाहूँगा गाइस, सबसे पहले तो RBI Grade B का नोटिफिकेशन हर साल आता है, पिछले 10 साल से आ रहा है एक्सेप्ट ड्यूरिंग द कोविड ईयर. सो डोंट वरी अबाउट दिस. आगे पीछे हो सकता है, देयर इज नो फिक्स कैलेंडर, बट इट्स मोर अबाउट यू बीइंग प्रिपेयर्ड देन द डेट्स बीइंग अनाउंस्ड. बाकी यार आपका कोई भी बैकग्राउंड हो, दैट डज नॉट मैटर. व्हाट मैटर्स इज कि आप कितना एफर्ट डालते हैं, एंड दैट इज to be believed from the results we have seen. Every year people from non-finance, non-UPSC, people who are freshers, people who have gap years, they are still able to clear this exam just because of their resolve, hard work and intelligent strategy. और RBI Grade B सिर्फ phase 1 नहीं है, phase 2 भी है. So people keep preparing quant, reasoning, English कि phase 1 में ये आएगा, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है. टिल द टाइम यू प्रिपेयर फॉर फेज 2 ऑल्सो अलोंगसाइड फेज 1, यू आर नेवर गोना मेक इट. सो यू आर वेस्टिंग योर टाइम इन केस यू आर ओनली प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर फेज 1. तो ये बेसिक चीज़ें याद रखना, ठीक है. और टैलेंट बहुत है, मैं जानता हूँ, देयर इज लॉट ऑफ टैलेंट इन यू गाइस. हमारे इंडिया में बहुत ज़्यादा टैलेंट है, बट आई थिंक व्हाट इज लैकिंग इज कॉन्फिडेंस. वही मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. आप कोई भी बैकग्राउंड के हों, कॉन्फिडेंस रखिएगा तो यू कैन बी वेरी क्लोज टू योर जर्नी. मैं आपको 4 स्टेप्स बताने वाला हूं सबसे पहले, दैट यू नीड टू इम्प्लीमेंट टू गेट यू इन द राइट डायरेक्शन और गेट योरसेल्फ इन द राइट डायरेक्शन. फर्स्ट इज, you must decide at this moment you're watching this video whether you want to give RBI or not, because I've seen many students who are just confused. Confusion में रहोगे तो तैयारी तो कभी कर ही नहीं पाओगे. It's high time that you decide whether you want to give this exam. In fact, I would say that you should always choose a set of exams at the start of the year, that these are the exams I want to give this year, and that list should be limited. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं 10 एग्जाम दूंगा. ज़्यादा एग्जाम देने से it's not going to increase your chances to clear this exam. In fact, decrease होंगे, because you will not be able to focus on any particular set of exams. And the exams you choose should not be random कि GRE देन RBI और कुछ एक एग्जाम ले लिया जिसका सिलेबस बिल्कुल अलग है. दे शुड बी कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री इन टर्म्स ऑफ सिलेबस, सो दैट व्हेन यू प्रिपेयर फॉर योर फर्स्ट एग्जाम इट हेल्प्स यू in your preparation for the second exam. When you prepare for the second exam, it strengthens your preparation for the first exam. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप है भैया, ये डिसाइड करना कि मुझे देना है या नहीं देना है, बिकॉज अ हाफ हार्टेड प्रिपरेशन इज इवन वर्स देन नो प्रिपरेशन. Second, once you have decided that I want to give this exam, 2 things are very very important for you. When you are driving a car in the dark, what helps you in the night? Headlights. Now for you, when you don't know much about this exam, the headlights for you would be the syllabus and the PYQs. By going through the syllabus and PYQs, you will get to know that what is the scope, which topics are more important, which topics are least important, which are the topics which questions are being asked and it is still not part of syllabus. Then what is the orientation, what is the depth up till which I have to read all these topics. तो वो आपको syllabus और PYQs से पता चलेगा. Do take a printout of the syllabus, paste it on your wall, go through it daily. You should remember it by heart and go through the PYQs. PYQ से आपको orientation, depth सब कुछ पता लगेगा. और अगर आपके पास PYQs नहीं है, लिंक ऑफ PYQs इज गिवन इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ दिस वीडियो। एक वीडियो है डिस्क्रिप्शन में, उसका लिंक है जहां पे मैंने बताया है कि हाउ कैन यू एक्सेस द PYQs, सो जस्ट गो थ्रू दैट। Step 3 is Hindu and alignment. These are must read. See, you are preparing for a dynamic exam. They are also going to check your intellectual abilities in the interview. और current affairs भी बहुत आते हैं. So Hindu and alignment, you must read on daily basis at least the editorials. I'm not asking you to read the complete papers. You can get all that content compiled in some magazines if we talk about current affairs. But editorials, opinion, analytics, that you must be thorough with, and for that you must read Hindu and alignment. This is step 3. I'm telling you some basic steps. ठीक है, एग्जाम देना है नहीं देना डिसाइड करो, सिलेबस और PYQs को अच्छे से गो थ्रू करो, हिंदू और अलाइनमेंट को डेली पढ़ना शुरू करो. एज अ फ्रेशर दिस इज मस्ट यू शैल बी डूइंग. एंड स्टेप 4 इज डू नॉट प्रिपेयर अलोन माय फ्रेंड. हम फेसबुक, व्हाट्सएप, टेलीग्राम से बहुत सारे लोगों से जुड़ गए हैं, बट आई थिंक द मोर we are connected through all these social media platforms, the more disconnected we are. So be connected, form a group of 2-3 people, and you will realize that when you learn in an environment where you can share your knowledge with others and learn from others, it's a different ball game altogether. So be connected to at least 3-4 people who are preparing with you alongside, and you can always share with them what are you learning, what are the difficulties you are facing. So that was about some 4 basic steps. Now moving on to the actual part of this video. I earlier told you कि आपको सिलेबस और PYQs अच्छे से पता होने चाहिए. एक चीज जो और आपको बहुत अच्छे से पता होना चाहिए वो है पैटर्न. So I'm going to tell you about the pattern. So RBI Grade B exam is basically conducted into 2 phases. Phase 1 and Phase 2. I'll tell you the pattern of these phases in a while. And there is a Phase 3 which is an interview. ठीक है, तो ये 3 फेजेस में होता है. इफ यू सी द पैटर्न ऑफ दीज 3 फेजेस, फेज 1 इज क्वालिफाइंग. यहाँ पे एक ही एग्जाम होता है. इन दैट एग्जाम यू गेट 4 सेक्शंस, GA, रीजनिंग, इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज एंड क्वांटिटेटिव एप्टीट्यूड, एंड दीज आर द नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दैट यू गेट इन दीज सेक्शंस, एंड ईच क्वेश्चन इज ऑफ 1 mark. देयर इज अ नेगेटिव मार्किंग ऑफ 1/4. If you see at this, you can clearly identify that GA holds around 40% weightage, 80 out of 200, and this is the section which holds the key. जिसका GA अच्छा है, current affairs अच्छा है, वो यहाँ पे अच्छा स्कोर कर सकता है. And I'll tell you in a while how to prepare for GA. There is a sectional timing. For each section, you will be given a certain time. In that time only, you will have to attempt that section and maximize your score. So sectional timing है, negative marking है. There is an sectional cutoff that you need to clear in all these sections, and there is an overall cutoff also which is decided dynamically based upon the performance of the students that year. So phase 1 qualifying है, but phase 2 is merit based. That is, the marks of phase 2 are included in your final merit list. phase 2 में basically 3 पेपर होते हैं. Paper 1 economic and social issues, which is also called ESI. Paper 2 is English descriptive writing, and paper 3 is finance and management, which is also popularly known as FM. Paper 1 और paper 3 की बात करें, so they are a mix of subjective and objective. That is 50 marks worth of paper would be objective, and rest 50 marks would be descriptive in both these paper 1 and paper 3. ठीक है, ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस भी आते हैं, डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्वेश्चंस भी आते हैं. सो यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर फ्रॉम बोथ द ओरिएंटेशंस. द कॉमन मिस्टेक विच पीपल डू इज ऑब्जेक्टिव के लिए तो बहुत पढ़ लिया, लेकिन सब्जेक्टिव की तैयारी नहीं की. ये मिस्टेक नहीं करनी है, नहीं करनी है, नहीं करनी है. याद रखिएगा इसको. English paper is totally descriptive. That's a test of your writing skills in which you will get 3 questions. You will get 90 minutes, and this would be 100 marks. And in paper 1 and paper 3, you will get total of 120 minutes. Out of which 30 minutes you will be getting for objective and 90 minutes for subjective. So I hope you understand the pattern of phase 2, which is very, very important, because pattern nahi pata hoga, then you will not be able to prepare for objective and subjective simultaneously. Then interview, phase 3 we can call it, is worth 75 marks. So ये total 300 marks है, ये 75 marks है, so your merit is calculated out of 375. So interview, which we generally ignore, is also, you can say, is paper 4. You can just imagine that, because it is worth 75 marks. And variation in interview can be huge. इंटरव्यू में आपको 75 में से किसी को 4 मार्क्स भी मिल रहे हैं, किसी को 70 भी मिल रहे हैं. सी द वेरिएशन. दैट काइंड ऑफ वेरिएशन यू विल नॉट सी इन पेपर 1, पेपर 2 और पेपर 3. वहां पे क्या है, किसी के 40 आ जाते हैं अगर किसी ने ज्यादा नहीं पढ़ा है, किसी ने बहुत पढ़ा है तो 70 आ जाएंगे, मैक्सिमम 30-40 मार्क्स का वेरिएशन रहेगा, यहाँ पे वेरिएशन कैन बी 70 मार्क्स. So do not take interview lightly while you start preparing for RBI Grade B. So that was about the pattern. Syllabus की बात करें, so there is a separate video in which I have discussed about the syllabus. I will not be discussing the syllabus here in this video. So description में एक लिंक दिया हुआ है एक वीडियो का, उस वीडियो में जाके you can learn more about the syllabus for RBI Grade B. अब strategy की बात करते हैं. We have understood the pattern, we have understood the basic steps. Now what should be the strategy for phase 1 and phase 2? सबसे पहले phase 1 की डिस्कस करते हैं. If I talk about phase 1, one thing which I clearly want to show you is that the overall cutoff is varying a lot. Do not try to predict the cutoff for the next year based upon the previous year. कि पिछली बार अगर 60 गई थी तो इस बार भी पेपर मुश्किल आएगा, इस बार भी 60 जाएगी, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. It can happen but it is not mandatory. See the variation. Here the cutoff was 78. People thought that exam would be very tough next year, but it was easy next year, 105. Then it further increased to 122, and then when it went to 122, people started saying that next year it will go to 130, 135. Competition is increasing, blah blah blah. Everybody giving their own commentary. In India, we are no very much expert in that. But then in 2021, the cutoff went 66.75, and in 2022, that is this year, the cutoff is around 63.75. So अभी 2022 में 2021 का रिपीट हुआ, but we are not sure कि next year भी ऐसा होगा. So do not assume that next year also the paper would be really tough. Be adaptive. पेपर को देख के adapt करना सीखो. That should be your motto. Give as many mock tests of very difficulty levels. This is the most common mistake which people do. Phase 1 tough है, यहाँ पे 66 marks कट ऑफ गया है, पेपर टफ था, बट 66 out of 200, that is around 33%. इतना भी टफ नहीं था. See that in that context. So you need to prepare accordingly and adapt accordingly. पेपर मुश्किल भी आ सकता है, आसान भी आ सकता है. This is the basic point you need to learn about phase 1 cutoffs. Then if I talk about phase 2 cutoffs, here again you see this 248 is out of 350 because at that time interview was of 50 marks. This is out of 350. This is out of 375, but if you calculate this as percentages of the total marks, this is somewhere around 70 to 75%. So the final cutoff in RBI Grade B is going 70 to 75%. This is like a shocker to you, or this must be like a shocker to you, because if you see the cutoffs in other exams, they are hardly between, say, UPSC 50%, IIT JEE 50%, NEET 40 to 50%. Why are the cutoffs so high in RBI Grade B? Is this because competition is high? No, competition is also high in UPSC, IIT JEE. Cutoffs are high because the exam difficulty level is not that much. It's easy, trust me. There is a difference between exam being competitive and exam being tough. This exam is not tough. They are testing you on your basics. Though it is competitive, there is no doubt about that, but exam tough नहीं है. So all those who are thinking कि हमारा finance background नहीं है, we don't have economics background, don't fall into such traps. You are not being tested on high level concepts. You are being tested on something very conceptual but basic. So you can do it. Just imagine it and you can do it. तो strategy for phase 1 discuss करते हैं. हमने cutoffs को देखा. देखिए, if I talk about quant, reasoning and English. Now, as I told you, exam can be tough, and in a tough exam, obviously, you will not be able to solve all the questions. You need to learn that trick of finding out easy questions first. And then you also need to simultaneously practice tough questions, at least on certain topics. कि अगर सारे topics से ही मुश्किल question आए, तो at least I can pick up some topics and solve hard level questions. That should be your first basic strategy for quant and reasoning. First basic strategy. ठीक है, बाकी अगर पेपर उतना टफ नहीं आता है, सो इवन अ मॉडरेट लेवल ऑफ प्रिपरेशन वुड डू. लेकिन अगर पेपर टफ आता है, यू शुड फर्स्ट बी एबल टू सेलेक्ट इजी क्वेश्चंस, देन यू शुड बी एबल टू डू हार्ड लेवल क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द सिलेक्टेड टॉपिक्स ऑन विच यू हैव अटेम्प्टेड और यू हैव प्रैक्टिस्ड हार्ड क्वेश्चंस व्हाइल योर प्रिपरेशन. सो टॉपिक वाइज बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस कीजिए, सेक्शनल टेस्ट बहुत सारे दीजिए. I've seen people just reading and reading, they do not realize that it's more about time management. 4 घंटे में कोई भी सारा पेपर कर लेगा या 5-6 घंटे में, बट द आइडिया इज टू मैक्सिमाइज योर स्कोर विद इन 2 hours. So do lot of topic wise questions and inculcate that idea of time management. Do lot of sectional tests on quant and reasoning. Reverse engineering can also work where you do not read anything. If you are good in quant and reasoning, you can just practicing right from day one and practice lots of questions. But focus on GA. This is the key area, my friend. Here, if you want to clear this, you should be scoring 50 to 55 in an easy paper or more than that. In a tough paper also, I expect you to score 35 to 40. अगर मैं बुक्स की बात करूं, I'll tell you in a while GA कैसे प्रिपेयर करना है. फॉर क्वांटिटेटिव एप्टीट्यूड अरुण शर्मा, for CAT is a good book which you can use for RBI. For reasoning, verbal and non-verbal reasoning by R.S. Agarwal. Read this book very selectively because this contains a lot of topics which are relevant for RBI. Now, which topics to read from here? Again, you need to go back to your PYQs which I've shared with you. वहाँ पे देखो और आपको पता लग जाएगा कौन से टॉपिक RBI में पूछे जाते हैं. For English, I am not recommending any book. English you can't learn at this stage. Just read newspapers, editorials, try to speak, and for your vocabulary you can do word power made easy and solve a lot of sectional tests on English. That is the best way to prepare. Now if I talk about coming back to GA, right, it is impossible to cover GA through newspapers or self-preparation. Trust me, if you try to compile current affairs from all the newspapers, magazines, websites, it is going to be very complex task. You need a compiled source for that. Always remember that. जहाँ पे आपको सारा compile करके दे दिया जाए, you just go through it and read it. And some people use UPSC magazines like Vaidrishti, Vision IS. Those are good. They are not bad. In fact, they might be good than ours. But the problem is they are not particularly meant for RBI. They will skip on the factual information which is not asked in UPSC but is asked in RBI. They are made from different orientation, from different requirement. So do not just rely on UPSC sources. Read some compiled magazines which are only meant for RBI Grade B. Now, how to prepare GA, right? In GA, you are basically asked static GA and current GA. Static GA, if I talk about, it is where is a particular national park located, airport located, this fog dance belong to which state, all these areas which we call journal knowledge. तो ऐसा बहुत questions आते हैं 10 से 15 marks के. It seems easy that you can cover all this, but when you start cramming all these national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, dams, rivers, festivals, dances, it is impossible to handle. So how do you handle infinite scope of static GA? Because it's such a large list, every head would have 40-50 entries to be crammed. That is almost impossible in my opinion. So the point you need to note is that the static GA which is asked in your exam is derived from current affairs. So for example, say if there is a war between Russia and Ukraine, they can ask you what is the capital of Russia, what is the currency of Ukraine. So this is related to current affairs. If Olympics is being organized by International Olympic Committee, they can ask you about where is the headquarters of International Olympic Committee. So all these current affairs leads to static questions. That is, static questions are being derived from current affairs. So don't be a gadha where you are just cramming static GA. Rather, try to derive static GA from current affairs. Moving on to another part, current GA, where 60 to 65 marks of your paper is asked. This is the breakage. Banking and financial awareness 20 marks, reports and schemes 15 marks, and other current affairs 30 marks. The most common mistake which I see people making is that they just focus on this. When you read any banking magazine for current affair, for IBPS PO or SBI PO, this is what you are covering. You are not covering these through those magazines because these magazines are not meant for that. These magazines are not covering content for RBI. RBI एग्जाम में बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंशियल अवेयरनेस में सबसे ज़्यादा क्या आता है? आरबीआई नोटिफिकेशंस. ये आपको बैंकिंग मैगजीन में नहीं मिलेंगी, आईबीपीएस या एसबीआई पीओ में. सो मेक श्योर दैट यू रीड बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंशियल अवेयरनेस according to requirements of RBI, as per which RBI notifications, reports and press releases are the most important. उसके अलावा mergers, apps, launches, initiatives and milestones by PSB, union budgets and economic survey और news by SEBI, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. बस सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट आरबीआई नोटिफिकेशन है. तो इसको एक अच्छा सोर्स पकड़कर कवर कीजिए, बैंकिंग मैगजीन्स पे मत रिलाई कीजिए. Next is reports and schemes. Again, this is one area which is not covered in banking magazine because reports and schemes are not being asked much in SBI और IBPSPO. तो ये भी आपको एक अच्छे सोर्स से करना पड़ेगा, जस्ट बैंकिंग सोर्स पे रिलाय मत करें. ये 15 मार्क्स का आता है, दिस कैन कॉस्ट यू डियरली. रेस्ट 30 मार्क्स इज अदर करंट अफेयर्स, जो कि कॉमन करंट अफेयर्स हैं दैट यू विल फाइंड इन एनी बैंकिंग मैगजीन और एनी बैंकिंग एग्जाम लाइक SBI और IBPSPO. सो दिस इज द लिस्ट. ठीक है, इसमें कुछ ऐसा नहीं है, दिस इज कॉमन टू एनी बैंकिंग एग्जाम. यू कैन जस्ट टेक अ स्नैपशॉट ऑफ दिस. दिस इज द मेजर एरियाज फ्रॉम विच अदर करंट अफेयर्स वर्थ 30 मार्क्स आर आस्क्ड. ठीक है जी. सो दिस इज अबाउट फेज 1G. आई हैव टोल्ड यू अबाउट क्वांट, रीजनिंग, इंग्लिश एंड GA. इसको अच्छे से देखो. आई होप यू विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट इन विच डायरेक्शन यू नीड टू प्रोसीड टू प्रिपेयर. नाउ कमिंग आउट ऑफ द फेज 2 एग्जाम, जैसा मैंने बताया 3 पेपर्स हैं, ESI, इंग्लिश एंड फाइनेंस एंड मैनेजमेंट. फर्स्ट स्टार्टिंग विद ESI. इन ESI, again the common mistake which people do is they start reading books, Indian economy by Ramesing and social problems in India. Now reading these books is not a problem. In fact, I would recommend you to read these books in case you are preparing for RBI. But the problem is when you start reading these books cover to cover, page to page, line by line. No. Why? Because ESI in the paper which is being asked is not static. Books में से नहीं आती है, current आती है, जो आपका करंट अफेयर्स चल रहा है इकोनॉमिक्स और सोशल इश्यूज में. सो रीड दिस बुक्स बट डू नॉट जस्ट रिलाई और डू नॉट जस्ट स्पेंड योर एंटायर टाइम ऑन दिस. मे बी इफ यू आर स्पेंडिंग 100 आवर्स ऑन इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल इश्यूज, जस्ट 20 टू दिस एंड रेस्ट 80 टू करंट अफेयर्स. और ESI में अगर 5 चैप्टर्स में बोलूँ सबसे ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हैं जो आपको अच्छे से पढ़ने ही चाहिए, वो है इन्फ्लेशन, बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट, मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी, फिस्कल पॉलिसी, ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट. ठीक है. रीजनल इकोनॉमिक कॉपरेशन पढ़ सकते हैं, इंडस्ट्रियल एंड लेबर पॉलिसी पढ़ सकते हैं. ये 2 चैप्टर्स और ऐड कर लीजिए. रेस्ट ऑफ द चैप्टर्स आर नॉट दैट इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप उसको बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ें. पढ़ना है, छोड़ना नहीं है, बट दीज आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दीज करंट अफेयर्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट. करंट अफेयर्स में क्या पूछते हैं? करंट अफेयर्स में दे वुड बी मेनली आस्किंग यू अबाउट रिपोर्ट्स एंड स्कीम्स. ये 2 चीजें नोट कर लो. नोबडी विल टेल यू दिस इज समथिंग पावरफुल दैट आई एम टेलिंग यू. रिपोर्ट्स एंड स्कीम्स पे फोकस करना है. अगर आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव पेपर 50 मार्क्स का आता है, उसमें से स्टैटिक सिर्फ 7 to 8 मार्क्स का आएगा, जो मैंने पिछली स्लाइड में दिखाया. रेस्ट 40 मार्क्स और 42 मार्क्स वुड बी रिपोर्ट्स एंड स्कीम्स. लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम रिपोर्ट्स एंड स्कीम्स. तो रिपोर्ट्स कौन सी पढ़नी है? विच आर रिलेटेड टू सिलेबस. एजुकेशन, हेल्थ, poverty, economy, regional cooperation, these are all related to your syllabus, whereas IT, entertainment, media, construction, these are not related to your syllabus. तो syllabus से related reports पढ़नी है, and reports which are released by national और international bodies of stature. बड़ी बड़ी जो bodies हैं, international level की बात करूँ तो IMF, World Bank, OECD, UNESCO, United Nations, UNICEF, Asian Development Bank. national level पे बात करूँ तो नीति आयोग, RBI, Ministry of Finance, SEBI, all these are important bodies. अगर इनका कोई रिपोर्ट रिलीज हुआ है which is related to the topic of your syllabus, that is the most important. Do not spend your time on reading reports by any random organization. और रिपोर्ट्स को अगर एक्चुअल सोर्स से कवर करोगे, it is going to be very very bulky. If you read a report by UNESCO, UNICEF, United Nations, they would be worth 100 pages. How to cover them smartly? उन रिपोर्ट्स को न्यूज़पेपर्स भी कवर करते हैं शॉर्ट आर्टिकल्स के थ्रू. सो न्यूज़पेपर में जाकर उन रिपोर्ट्स को पढ़ो, हिंदू में पढ़ो, लाइमिट में पढ़ो. दैट इज हाउ यू कैन कवर रिपोर्ट्स. और रिपोर्ट्स कितनी देर के पढ़ने हैं? प्रीवियस 1 ईयर के, या फिर मिनिमम 6 मंथ्स, मैक्सिमम 1 ईयर, या फिर 9 मंथ्स, लेकिन 6 मंथ्स तो पढ़ना ही पढ़ना है एग्जाम से पहले. एंड इफ आई टॉक अबाउट स्कीम्स, अगेन ऑन स्कीम्स देयर इज लॉट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन. पीपल से दैट स्कीम्स आर आज विच आर ओल्ड. 1990 का स्कीम पूछ लिया, 2010 का स्कीम पूछ लिया. They will ask you old schemes, but there is a pattern to it. They will ask you old schemes if they are in news now. If a scheme which was launched in the year 2005 is in news in the year 2022, this can be asked in your exam. So do not be fooled कि पुरानी schemes पूछ रहे हैं. पुरानी भी पूछ रहे हैं, but only if they are in news in 2022. So you need to keep a track which schemes are in news. उसमें कोई अपडेट हुआ है, या उस पर कोई एप्रिसिएशन मिला है, उसको कोई क्रिटिसिज्म मिला है, फॉर वॉट एवर रीजन दैट स्कीम इज इन न्यूज, दैट बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर एग्जाम. ठीक है. तो जितनी भी स्कीम्स न्यूज में है, स्पेशली ऑन प्रेस इंफॉर्मेशन ब्यूरो, PIB, जो गवर्नमेंट का वेबसाइट है, वहां पे देखिए जो भी स्कीम्स न्यूज में है उनको कवर कीजिए एग्जाम के लिए. Apart from that, in schemes, you focus on standard dimensions, which ministry has launched it, what is the launch year, what is the funding division between state and center, what is the budget allocation in the recent union budget, what are the objectives of that scheme, who are the target beneficiaries under that scheme. ठीक है, बाकी जो भी कोई करंट डेवलपमेंट है जिसके कारण वो न्यूज़ में है, उस चीज़ को भी आप करें. So this is about reports and schemes, very very important. So do not rely on static part, rather focus more on the current part. और sources जो हैं ESI के for current portion, PIB and Hindu are the best sources, but as I told you, it is not easy to read current affairs from say newspapers or websites, because that way you will have to make a lot of effort in compiling them, making your own notes. Rather use some compiled sources. So in EduTap we provide compiled magazines where we cover all the reports and schemes from this PIB and Hindu and other newspapers like Live Mint, Times of India. Everything is being compiled at a single place. You need such a source if you want to prepare comprehensively in the shortest possible time. Next, coming on to English, guys. English में again there is very less to do. I would say you just need to understand the technicalities of writing essay, précis and comprehension, which would not be more than 2-3 videos on each of these topics. So videos आपको 8 से 10 ही देखनी रहेंगी, but watch them 10-12 times so that you are very thorough with the ground rules or ground rules or the basic technicalities of writing them. Once you have watched these videos, revise them again and again, it's time to practice. Descriptive English is all about practice. Read one editorial from financial and non-financial newspaper. Daily एक पढ़ो, चाहे financial पढ़ो, चाहे non-financial पढ़ो. And once you have read that, after 3 days, do not do it immediately. After 3 days, type it. Do not write it, type it, because your exam is online. All the descriptive answers has to be written on computer using the keyboard. Pen से नहीं लिखना होता है. So type it in the notepad. Type it in the notepad, not in the word pad, because when you write in the word pad, auto corrections will happen. So type in the notepad after 3 days in your own words. That is critical. Do not try to cram it and copy it. And initially you can write without any time constraint, without any word limit constraint, but I think over a period of time you need to learn to write within a time constraint. Essay को 20-25 मिनट में लिखिए around 300 words, précis को 20 minutes में लिखिए around 170 words. And once you have written, check your grammatical mistakes by copying what you have written on the website grammarly.com. It will show you all your punctuation errors, spelling errors, grammatical errors. It will show you all your mistakes. Do this on daily basis. You will improve your speed. You will improve on your errors. You will improve on your structure and flow, and you will also be developing the content, because you will be reading a lot of editorials, and that content can help you writing in actual essays in the exam. Now coming on to the management, the last paper 3. So finance and management is one paper, but that consists of 2 subjects, I would say, finance and management. 50 marks का around management आता है, 50 marks का around finance आता है. If I talk about management, is very easy. Read through it multiple times. Understand the concept. Once you have understood management, you will be score 50 out of, say 45 out of 50. That also because exam is descriptive. Otherwise, I would say 50 out of 50. And this is the most scoring paper. People generally score 75 to 80 out of 100 in FM. This is the most scoring paper. ESI is not scoring because ESI में current portion ज़्यादा है, जिसका scope बहुत ज़्यादा है, तो you cannot cover everything. But finance and management is something that you cover easily because static है ज़्यादा. और ये books हैं L.M. Prasad, Principles and Practices of Management. There is another book by L.M. Prasad, Organizational Behavior. ये दोनों किताबें पढ़ें. And there is also Ethics and Corporate Governance, जिसके लिए you can read B. N. Ghosh. So management is pretty easy. Use these 3 books in case you are doing self-preparation. Match the topics with your syllabus in these books and cover them. Read them multiple times and solve a lot of MCQs. सिर्फ पढ़ने से नहीं होगा. Questions are not bookish. Do a lot of MCQs. कम से कम 5000 MCQs करके जाना management पे. Now coming out of the finance again, as I told you, your non-finance background will not be a hindrance because questions that are being asked are at basic level. अगर मैं ऑब्जेक्टिव की बात करूं तो यही कुछ चैप्टर्स हैं जो इंपॉर्टेंट है. प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी मार्केट्स विच इज हेयर, देन रिस्क मैनेजमेंट विच इज हेयर, देन इन्फ्लेशन विच इज हेयर, डेरिवेटिव्स विच इज हेयर, देन फंक्शंस ऑफ RBI विच इज रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया functions, then monetary and fiscal policy is basically Here only monetary policy, right? Functions of RBI. Then who regulates what? Basically this chapter, this one, banking system in India. These are the most important topics from which maximum of the objective paper is being asked. Can I leave other chapters like financial inclusion, alternate sources of finance, corporate governance, fintech? No, you cannot leave these chapters because in subjective they are still important. But for objective, or I would say on a conceptual level, these are the most important chapters. Baki, if I talk about books, Principles and Practices of Banking is important. Indian Economy by Ramesh Singh will help you cover union budget, then fiscal policy, monetary policy. Bank financial management will also help you cover topics like forex markets and international banking. Apart from that, there are FAQs on the RBI website which you can go and read. These are very comprehensive. You can learn a lot from them. And Investopedia is a good source. Whenever you are in doubt, you are not able to understand any term, go to Investopedia. ठीक है guys, so these are some of the basic things about FM. और FM में current affairs भी आते हैं, mainly RBI notifications. So do not just read the static part, focus on RBI notifications also. और RBI notifications जो भी आ रही हैं, if you try to read that from actual source on the RBI website, they are very technical. So do not cover them from the actual source, rather read that notification the way it is being covered in the newspaper. ठीक है, तो आरबीआई नोटिफिकेशन के अलावा सेबी का कोई भी रेगुलेशन हो, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस का कोई डेवलपमेंट हो, जैसे कि आईबीसी कोड आया था 2018 में, देयर वर 3 क्वेश्चंस इन योर एग्जाम फॉर दैट, सो उनको भी आपको पढ़ना होगा. ठीक है, नोटिफिकेशंस आप आरबीआई वेबसाइट से देख सकते हैं, उनको न्यूज़पेपर्स में से ट्रैक करके पढ़ सकते हैं. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट ऑल अदर न्यूज़ रिलेटेड टू सेबी और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस लाइव मिंट, बट अगेन it is not going to be easy to compile all the news from live mint, rather use some compiled magazine which is specifically for RBI. डिस्क्रिप्टिव राइटिंग के लिए मैं यही कहूँगा, 200 मार्क्स का इसको मत भूलिएगा. 50 मार्क्स इन एफएम, 50 मार्क्स इन ईएसआई एंड 100 मार्क्स इन डिस्क्रिप्टिव इंग्लिश. तो लर्न द आर्ट ऑफ राइटिंग अ गुड इंट्रो, बॉडी एंड कंक्लूजन, एंड प्रैक्टिस प्रैक्टिस प्रैक्टिस. That's the key. You cannot be lazy and learn descriptive writing, and you cannot be thinking that I cannot write, therefore how can I improve without writing. You have to write, you have to practice for that. करिए, आज से ही करिए. Once you finish a chapter, at least write 2 answers, and once you are going through the chapters, say you have finished 5 chapters, start writing 1 answer on daily basis. 1 answer on daily basis means 180 questions you will attempt in next 180 days. That is more than sufficient. It will get you in the another league. और ये एक मोटा मोटा प्लान है. The most common mistake which people do is they pick up more than 2 subjects in a day. I would not suggest that. Read limited subjects, set limited targets and try to cover them. Do not try to start all the subjects, FM, ESI, Quant, Reasoning, English at one go. एक घंटा 2 घंटे सबको देके कुछ नहीं होगा. You might be busy, but you will not be productive. When we multitask, we try to multitask, we just become mediocre at everything. We are not able to do anything at a proficient level. So एक basic plan है, एक ऐसा प्लान है जो आप आसानी से एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हैं, प्रोवाइडेड यू हैव पेशेंस. आपके पास अभी मिनिमम 6 months पड़े हैं. इन द नेक्स्ट 2 months आई वुड सजेस्ट गो फॉर जस्ट एफएम स्टैटिक, एफएम आंसर राइटिंग एंड क्वांट एंड एडिटोरियल्स. आई एम स्पेसिफिकली मेंशनिंग आंसर राइटिंग हियर, दो इट दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ एफएम ओनली बिकॉज पीपल डोंट डू इट. तो अगले 2 महीने में सिर्फ इतना ही करना है. ईएसआई, करंट अफेयर्स, रीजनिंग कुछ उठाने की जरूरत नहीं है. एफएम स्टैटिक, एफएम आंसर राइटिंग, एडिटोरियल्स एंड क्वांट. This is not going to be easy, but this is something which is doable. It all depends upon your resolve. Then after that we will start ESA static again. इस पे ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं देना, as I told you earlier. But current affairs हम यहाँ पे शुरू करेंगे. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Current affairs last 6 months के इंपॉर्टेंट है. So if I start them around say October or November, I think I am bang on my current affairs which will be asked in the exam. अभी जुलाई अगस्त में पढ़ेंगे वो इतने relevant नहीं रहेंगे. Editorials, keep doing them. Do reasoning and revise FM. जो यहाँ पे पढ़ी है, revision is very very important because you always tend to have that feeling कि मैंने जो पढ़ा है भूल गया हूँगा. So just to avoid that, keep revising so that in the end you are just like you are doing your syllabus also and you have done your revision also. In the last 2 months again revise FM and ESI say for 1 hour a day and keep doing current affairs because they will keep on piling as you go near to the exam. December, January, February, month on month they will keep on piling. and do some practice on descriptive English here, right? You can do it here also, but if you don't have time there, then at least do here. And mock test for phase 1 and phase 2 ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. I would say before phase 1, every Sunday give one mock. 10 mocks you should be giving at least, and every alternate weekend, maybe on Saturday if you have a holiday on alternate weekend, give a mock test for phase 2. Before phase 1, give 3 to 4 mocks for phase 2, and then after phase 1 you can give another 5 mocks for phase 2. मॉक्स बहुत ज़रूरी हैं, एंड यू नीड टू प्रॉपरली एनालाइज द मॉक्स ऑल्सो, बिकॉज अगेन पढ़ने से कुछ नहीं होता है. Knowledge is not marks. The way you apply your knowledge under a timed environment, under a environment where you are under pressure, you are anxious, that is what matters. Knowledge बहुत है लेकिन एप्लीकेशन नहीं है, और जब तक एप्लीकेशन नहीं आएगी कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आएगा, एंड जब तक कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आएगा वो बात नहीं बनेगी जो एक RBI ग्रेड बी ऑफिसर में होनी चाहिए. सो थैंक यू गाइज फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो. आई होप दिस वीडियो gave you a quick look into what a beginner should do when he or she is preparing for RBI Grade B. Do leave your comments if you like the video. Do let me know by commenting below this video that, sir, now I am clear with my strategy as a beginner for RBI Grade B. You have to type, sir, now I am clear about my strategy for RBI Grade B as a beginner. Bye bye.